Hey, pretty excited today. Today's my first coin video I've ever made. It's based off of my metric that I made, or my matrix that I made through a spreadsheet. I'm going to go through 4 different specific points. The first one being social, the second one being web, the third one being development team, and the fourth being a coin specific. I'm actually going to essentially try to take all these points on a particular coin and shove it into a very, very small video as fast as I possibly can without sounding like a machine gun. I don't necessarily want to be a 30 to 40 minute video. There are plenty of other crypto people, experts out there, Data Dash and Superman and box mining and crypto investor, etc. that will do that for you. I want my videos to be short, sweet, and to the point. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right on in. The coin we're going to look at today is called Siacoin or Siacoin. I've heard it pronounced 2 different ways. I got a request off of Steemit, and so I'm going to go ahead and hop into my PowerPoint that I've created. First and foremost, social metrics. Twitter. A little bit disappointed in their Twitter followers, 82,000 in comparison. Oh, real quick, just so you know, I'm comparing everything against Ethereum, Litecoin, and Dash kind of as a baseline, if you will. I think Bitcoin's gone too far. I think it's really hard to compare everything to Bitcoin, so I've taken these 3 base coins. They've been around for a while. They have good social metrics. They have good followings. This is what I compare it to, at least for the moment. For this video, maybe I'll change as time goes on. So 82,000 followers for Sia on Twitter. I feel like it should be higher, given the fact they've been around for a while. Reddit, 27,000 subscribers. Again, definitely feel like this should be a lot higher than it currently is, but I was actually quite surprised that it beat out Dash. Very, very surprising to me. I really thought that would have not been the case, but it is. Crypto Compare. If you haven't been on that website before, definitely suggest going to it. It's got a lot of cool things you can do on it, but specifically for the social side of things, they have their own proprietary their score, if you will. They tie in a bunch of different factors to come up with that particular score, and they describe it on there. If you go to that particular section, type in a coin in their search, it will come up with a score. The overall score that they gave Siacoin is 189,000, which is much, much less than Dash, Litecoin, and Ethereum, as you can tell. Their comments, essentially that's just the comments on Crypto Compare, not comments around the whole entire web. But they're very, very low, meaning not a lot of people are commenting and talking about Siacoin on Crypto Compare. Not the end of the world. I was actually surprised that it was comparable to Dash, but it was definitely not comparable to Ethereum, as you can tell. And then followers, those are the people that are following this particular coin on Crypto Compare. In comparison, it's much, much lower than the rest. And given the fact across the board you can see it's lower, that doesn't necessarily surprise me. Let me go ahead and give you the grade from my social standpoint. C+ to a D. Before you shoot me, let me explain, because I know there's a huge fan base for Siacoin, which I'm all cool with that. Negatives. I believe, again, the metrics are way too low. Given the fact that they started in 2014, I really, truly feel like it should be a lot higher than it is currently right now. Number 2, the negative, I believe, or if you look not necessarily at the coins like Filecoin or Storage, which are direct competitors in my opinion to Siacoin or Siacoin, but if you look at the new players, the new kids on the block, if you will, Verge and Tron and Cardano, they kill from a social metric standpoint. They kill Siacoin. So that to me is a little bit of a bummer. I really wish they would have picked up more steam by now, but positive, truly believe this, their community is really, really good. It's not a cancer. I've been in other communities that are, and this particular community is not, so I definitely view that as a positive. Web metrics, I'm going to go ahead and hop in. Again, this is all my opinion, guys, so take it for what it is. I give it a 6 out of 7, or a 6 to 7 out of 10 for their website. The design, it's fairly straightforward and simple. You can find stuff pretty quickly. I do believe it could look a little bit more business oriented. Not the end of the world. It's not an ugly website by any means. I don't think the development team was presented as well as it could have been on there compared to some of the other competitors out there. I feel like they do a much better job of giving almost like a LinkedIn feel, where they describe like where they went to college, what their prior business connections are, etc. And I don't feel like they did quite a good job on here. They don't present the roadmap on their website. They link you over to Trello, which, funny enough, it wasn't that bad. At first I was kind of annoyed by that, but they went into more detail in there. So it's not terrible. I kind of wish they would have just thrown the website. I don't know. I'm just being nitpicky about that, to be completely frank. Website traffic was actually amazing. They beat out Ethereum. They didn't beat out the other two, but typically they were averaging about 500,000 a month. Now in the last 30 days, they've hopped up to 1.9 million, and as you can see, their growth was 1.5 million in the last 30 days. So that's pretty darn stinking solid. I will give them a grade of A for that. Point being is, website looks good enough, better than others, not amazing, but better than others for sure. I've seen a lot worse, a lot worse. Easy enough to navigate through, to find the wallet, to find how to mine the coin, to find information about the coin and get started. Very, very straightforward. So I have to be positive about that. And then the website traffic, as you saw, holy cow, it's definitely started to grow. So that's definitely good. Let's go on to coin specifics, and I'll try to fly through this quickly because I want this video to be short as possible. Creation date 2014. You can see the rest of them there. Masternodes, they do not have a masternode. I'm not going to argue positive or negative against it. I'm just going to go ahead and present the data for that. Proof of work, they are proof of work, not a proof of stake. And as you can see there, I just put in the Ethereum is actually proof of work moving to proof of stake. ASIC resistant, they're absolutely not. They actually, in June or August, I've seen conflicting stories that they're going to come out with their own ASIC miner that they're selling. I think it's like $1,500 currently right now. That's what they're going to sell it for. Governance, they do not have a governance like a Dash, or I believe Decred has the governance. They do not have that. The top exchange is on Bittrex, and as of today, making this video, which is January 15, 2018, they actually, I saw on their Twitter, just got added to Upbit. It's a Korean exchange, which is, as far as I know, it's actually like the number one. I looked today, it was like 5 billion in volume, so that's huge in my opinion. So short term, it definitely could help out that price, I'd imagine. Total supply is infinite, just like Ethereum. Personally, I don't like the infinite concept, but obviously it's not a killer. I mean, look at Ethereum, that's not killing it, so take it for what it's worth. 24-hour volume. When I started to make this video towards this morning, was 65 million 24-hour volume. Now it's almost doubled, which is absolutely insane, and it's half of Dash, so pretty darn good. I'll give it the grade of a B-. And my reasonings: infinite supply with burns integrated in. I can't go against it totally. Ethereum does it. So neutral / negative. I didn't specifically talk about as much as Filecoin and storage, but as far as I can tell, there's like two other major players in the sector for the file storage. Siacoin obviously being one of them. So that's not that bad. That's actually really, really small in comparison. But from a real world aspect, you got Google, you have Amazon, you have Dropbox. There may be more. So that's a huge. Those are big players to go against. So that could be tough too. Positive side of things, though, the jump in volume in the last 24 hours have been freaking amazing, and I do believe that's because of the addition to that exchange. Let me go ahead and dive into development. And again, I'm not a developer. I don't do coding. I still am learning a lot of this stuff. So if I do make a mistake, please, somebody do call me out on that. Team size 3. I've actually read somewhere it was 2. And then another place it said 3. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that it was 3. Contributors. This has to do with their GitHub. I just picked the highest, the repository, the group that had the highest amount of contributors I could find. They had 45 on the highest one. You can see in comparison to Ethereum, Dash, and Litecoin that they are lower. But I've seen some coins that have like less than 10 contributors, and that was about it. So I mean, I can't say that it's a bad thing at 45 for sure. Commits. My understanding is that's when they're doing saves and changes on GitHub. They had multiple commits recently, even as of today, a couple of hours ago. So they're definitely active from that standpoint. The roadmap seemed fairly detailed, even though it was on Trello, which, again, not the end of the world at all. It was actually fairly detailed as far as like very specific things that they were trying to hit and cover, and they seemed to be producing. So that's not a negative at all. But I do give it a B minus to a C. Reasons being, the team is very, very small in my opinion compared to some. Dash has like, I don't know, I think like 35 people involved in some way, shape, or form. So it's very, very small in comparison to some other teams out there. And I think they actually got, like, I looked somewhere, I swore it said they got 750,000 in like up front. So they didn't get a ton of money to start. If that's a wrong number, I apologize, but that's what I read. So either way, the team's small. Not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is at this moment. Positive, they do seem to be hitting deadlines. They aren't necessarily groundbreaking deadlines that I can find. Not like something that would absolutely make the coin shoot, go to the moon, but they are hitting deadlines, and that's more than you can say from maybe some other teams. Negatives, in my opinion, I do think they need to make or put more effort and focus on partnerships, and then real world, like, showing, hey, this is how it's changing people's lives and how they're using it on a daily basis. My overall grade is a C. And again, my reasoning has come down to, again, the real world use cases. I want to see people talking about how it's, they're moving from Dropbox and Google and all these other things and starting to use it on a more daily basis, more companies, etc. Social growth, that's, to me, you got to get the word out. This is a business, and you got to market and tell people, hey, this is what we're doing. And I think that's one of their biggest failures is the social side of things. Even though their community is freaking amazing, it's not a cancerous community, so I'll give them that. Don't yell at me too much. Add more on exchanges. That's always huge in my opinion. The exposure, the volume grows, and they did that today, so I gotta give them some credit for getting tied into that. And lastly, I think they need to be less focused on their new ASIC miner coming out. Focus on other things. Personal opinion, just me. And then I say thoughts and opinions. I like the concept. I mined it. It was one of the first coins I ever mined. I believed in the concept, so I did get into it, but I just feel like it's been very, very stagnant, and I do feel like if it is going to move, it's going to take longer, and you just need to hold for a bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. I apologize if it was almost too fast. If it was, please do let me know. I want to get positive feedback. I want to get negative feedback, just any feedback, because I want to know if this is something that you guys want to see more of, or if you felt like it wasted your time. Either way, please do let me know, positive and negative. And it would be awesome if you could either like the video, if you do like it, and follow me on Steemit, follow me on Twitter, follow me anywhere else you can find me. But if you have a particular coin that you would prefer that I make a video just like this on, go ahead and send me a comment, and I'll do my best to make that happen. Thank you guys. Have a great night.